the sun is bright. Today I'm doing something a little bit different, and I am in the panhandle of Florida in a small town called Carrabelle. I thought I would take you guys around and show you some of the cute little places I'm exploring for the afternoon. We are in front of the Carrabelle History Museum, and I'm about to go in and check it out and see what this little town is all about, so let's go. Incorporated in 1893 with just under 500 residents, Carrabelle, a small fishing community nestled along the Gulf Coast in the panhandle of Florida, has maintained its original small-town feel throughout the last 130 years. Currently, with a population of around 2,500, this adorable little town is rich with history. Previously occupied by a tribe of Native Americans called the Appalachee, you can find evidence of their now ancient villages dating from 150 AD to 900, and some of the oldest artifacts, such as pottery shards and tools, dating as far back as 500 BC, including their most recent discovery of an ancient tool called an adze, spelled ADZ, which would have been attached to some type of handle and used like an axe. In addition to its strong fishing industry, Carrabelle became known for other natural resources, including lumber and salt. Florida's biggest contribution to the Civil War was salt, and the region around Carrabelle was the most prolific for salt works, making Carrabelle known not only for its fishing, but for its export of salt. This oyster shell was found in a nearby limestone pit north of town. It's from way back when the sea covered all of Florida. Like a tree, they put out a layer every year, and it was carbon dated by the state of Florida to be over 20,000 years old. From the same limestone pit came this megalodon shark's tooth, an extinct species of shark that lived approximately 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Closely related to the great white shark, it's known as the largest predator that ever lived, reaching up to 60 to 70 feet in length and over 60 tons. To give you an idea of how big this really is, this illustration of a man sitting inside the jaws of a megalodon shows us the size of these enormous prehistoric beasts. Carrabelle experienced a growth boom after the Civil War between 1880 and 1920, and a second growth boom during the Second World War when the Army took over the entire county and created Camp Gordon Johnson. This took the tiny town of about 800 at the time and added about 40,000 soldiers at any given time, which you can imagine what that did to transform the town. During the 40s, the entire area was used for Army training, and it's right here in Carrabelle where they did the amphibious landing training they used for the landing at D-Day. The town just recently opened a 4,000 square foot World War II museum, the only World War II museum east of New Orleans, and the only one in Florida. The other two notable things I wanted to share with you about the town of Carrabelle are, one, the Crooked River Lighthouse, which at 103 feet is the tallest on the Forgotten Coast, which has 4 lighthouses in total. It's made of an iron skeleton structure, and you can climb its 128 steps to the top, if you're feeling adventurous. Sadly, I won't be able to visit this lighthouse today, because I have another lighthouse on the itinerary in just a little bit. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is the town police station. Now you might be wondering, why is she going out of her way to share with us a police station? And that would be because Carrabelle is home to the world's smallest police station. Until recently, Carrabelle's police station has been located inside a phone booth on the corner of Highway 98 and County Road 67, manned by a 1 to 2 man police force from the 60s until just a few years ago. It's attracted a lot of attention for the town, so as we finish up here at the museum, I want to head over to the corner where police used to use a phone booth to take this small town's rare emergency phone calls and stay out of the rain. After many years of storms, car accidents, and vandalism, the original booth has been retired to the Carrabelle History Museum, so I made sure to catch a quick selfie with Bitsy. And now let's head out and go see the world's smallest police station. Here we are at the world's smallest police station. With a growing police force of now 4 police officers, I guess you could say they've kind of outgrown their phone booth and have since moved into a brick and mortar building. But the replica still stands here today for tourists and as a landmark of one of the many things that makes the small town of Carrabelle so unique. Across from the police station, I found the Carrabelle Riverwalk, where you can walk along the peaceful riverfront. The street is quiet with a few bars, a playground, and a pavilion for fishing. I noticed a lot of damage left over from past storms, most recently Hurricane Michael. Abandoned buildings, sinking docks, and damaged ships scattered the shoreline, and left my imagination to wonder, what was this town like during its heyday? So I'm here at the Carrabelle Bottle House. It was a cute little place I found on the map, so I decided to stop by and take a look. Let's go inside and see what's inside. There's also a bottle lighthouse behind me. Everything's made out of bottle. The Carrabelle Bottle House was started in 2012 by a local artist named Leon Weisner. It's an evolving project that he plans to continue adding to throughout his life. The walls of the house are lined with glass bottles of various shapes, sizes, and colors. At night, the house and lighthouse are illuminated from within to shine for visitors. The guest book is filled with travelers from around the world, and the property is open to guests all the time according to the sign out front. Definitely a neat place to stop and visit if you're in the area. Well, as cool as that was, this garden reminds me that I am starving. And while this town has an overabundance of seafood restaurants that I'm sure are fantastic, I don't eat seafood, so I'm gonna head out of town and find something to eat. I stumbled across this barbecue joint, Hammonds, about 30 minutes outside of town in a place called Crawfordville. Turns out this restaurant was featured on the TV show Man, Fire, Food, so I decided to give it a try, and boy did I make a great decision. The barbecue nachos were to die for. Everything was delicious, including their signature sauces. The dining room was decorated in a fun, funky atmosphere, and it filled up pretty quickly. Be sure to give this place a try if you're ever in the area. Following the panhandle along the Gulf Coast of Florida was such a beautiful sight. We were literally feet from the water. And finally, we ended up at our last location of the day, St. Mark's Lighthouse. This is also where I saw my first alligator crossing the road. First time in my 5 years in Florida. He's doing good, he's a little baby alligator. St. Mark's Lighthouse, built in 1842, is the second oldest lighthouse in Florida. Inside its picturesque whitewashed tower is a spiral staircase made of 72 wooden steps and 13 iron steps leading to the lantern room. The lamp can be seen for up to 15 miles, and over the years it's been powered by oil, kerosene, electricity, and currently solar. During the Civil War, St. Mark's Lighthouse played an important role and was used by the Confederate Army on a regular basis. To deter the use of the lighthouse as a lookout tower, the steps and interior woodwork were burned by a naval party in 1863. After the Civil War ended, the lighthouse was restored to its original purpose as a navigational aid for Gulf Coast commerce. The lighthouse sits on a national wildlife refuge and migratory bird refuge, and is a beautiful, peaceful place to watch animals in their natural habitats. Well, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, hanging out with me around the Panhandle and checking out the little town of Carrabelle, Florida. I look forward to doing more of these videos, so if you enjoyed this, be sure to check back soon, and until then, take care.